Hey everybody, Tim here with today's review of Doctor Who, story number 84, The Brain of Morbius. I love this story. This is a great story. It's a classic story. I think everybody loves this story. As of right now, I would probably say this is my favorite story, for the fourth Doctor at least. Because as I'm going through, I'm keeping track of what is my favorite story for each Doctor. For the fourth one, as of before this, it was the genesis of the Daleks. And the only thing that, the reason this one is actually better is because it's only 4 episodes, whereas the Daleks is 6 episodes. Davros is such a great character and everything, but that story just goes. And, if they cut it down by, 1, just go down to 5, maybe even by 4, because there's a lot of filler in there. It may have beat this one, but I love this story. One of the things that I don't like about it, and that has nothing to do with the story, is that nothing returns to this. After this story, it's done. And this is one of those I would love to have seen, a return to of somehow. So like I said, it's 4 episodes. We are officially in 1976, so that's kind of cool. One of the things that I'm talking about is the Sisterhood of Karn. Now, we do see them briefly again, very recently, actually. And it was from, well, we'll talk about it when we get there. Anyways, but we don't see them a whole bunch. The Sisterhood could have been a great asset to the show. I would love to have seen a return of them over and over and over again. One of the things that stood out to me was when Tom Baker's talking and he's like, who knows? And that is something we will see, and we have seen very recently. So stuff like that I really like. The whole point is Morbius is a criminal, and they're the head where he sees the bust, the statue, and it's oh, that's kind of interesting. And then when Sarah goes blind, which seemed like a weird type of storytelling, and then it's just the brain in the jar, and then the giant headless Frankenstein body, which realistically, this whole episode is just Doctor Who meets Frankenstein. But it really works. It works really well. And just that the Morbius is this brain in a jar and he's trying to get out of it. And it's fantastic. When they finally do the glass fishbowl monster head, it instantly kind of took me out because I was like, what is even happening right now? You were this badass, weird put together creature, and then you just got this glass fishbowl head. But, I mean, maybe 1976, it worked for me at the same time. I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. And one of the things that I really liked, it was a throwaway line, but I loved it, was Sarah going well, where's the sonic screwdriver? And he's like, it's in the TARDIS. Which I don't like the sonic screwdriver that much. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I mean, we didn't see it. We saw it briefly with the second Doctor, and then with the third. It's used a lot. And then you get to New Who every single episode. They even got rid of it for several years because it just becomes this Deus Ex Machina. How do we get out of this situation? Sonic screwdriver. And so for situations like this where he's like, I don't have it, I left it in the TARDIS. It's oh, that's brilliant. You just flat out nah, I forgot it. Oh, oops. So stuff like that is great. The whole mind-bending contest is a classic Doctor Who thing. And the classic line, how long have you lived, Doctor? And it's ooh, okay, what's this? And they're going kind of back and forth. And what I love about it is you see Morbius and you kind of see him go a little bit back, and then you see the Doctor, and then you see the third Doctor, and then the second Doctor, and then the first Doctor, and then it keeps going. You see 8 or 9 more faces after that, and that's huge. I don't even know how to talk about that, because for one, like I've said, for these early episodes of Doctor Who, continuity is not a thing. The second Doctor said he was 500 years. The third Doctor said he was several thousand years. Continuity in Doctor Who's not a thing at all. At least yet. And so, this episode, if you're just kind of watching it, you're oh, so William Hartnell was not the first Doctor. There were several before him. And of course, later on in the series where they're oh, you only get 12 regenerations, and then the first Doctor, the William Hartnell lookalikes, start coming up and they're I'm the original. And so it's oh, okay, so who were the other 9? because now we've kind of gotten rid of them. It went from like this cute little joke of the producers and the writers and stuff to like, wait, so are they not real? And some people have said like, oh, it's actually switching back and forth from the Doctor and Morbius. Like those other 9 faces were just Morbius. And it's like, okay, so a lot of stuff going on with those other faces going on. Like, who are they? Are we ever going to find out? Probably not. To my knowledge, they've never even referenced them before. So, who knows? But overall, it is a really kind of interesting thing to think about. Like, how many pasts are there? How long have you lived, Doctor? Overall, I really enjoyed this story. I thought it was really good. I would have liked some returns to it, but unfortunately, this is kind of it. It's a standalone. I don't know. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Please let me know. Thank you guys for subscribing. I'll see you guys next time for the Seeds of Doom.